It's been a long time since we had an episode up, and I do apologize, but life happens. Updates. I'm a graduate now. I don't think I've recorded since graduation. Have I? Have I posted
Yes,
anything?
yes, you have.
I
There
have.
was one episode, I think.
Okay, so you guys know I'm a graduate now. Anyways, moving on
I
to
guess.
better things. Today I have this man here. No introductions
You're supposed to
needed.
introduce me. You're supposed to say, "Oh, today I have a wonderful,
What's
brilliant
in your bio?
Ephraim.
What am I going to use to spice you up?
I'm in tech. Man in tech, you guys.
Morning tech. Okay.
Yes.
We have Ephraim on this episode today. I saw no other person be fitting for this topic
Mm,
because this is a panic king.
I'm shy.
So we're going to be talking about social media as a
Okay.
pressure cooker and
Okay.
what it does to us, especially as young adults.
Okay.
So we did the usual unfiltered takes where we had our guests ask questions,
Okay.
but we'll get to that later.
No problem.
So again, on the topic, what do you think about the topic, or how
Social.
can you relate to the topic?
Hmm. Hmm. I relate to this topic so much. It's it's a lot, and I think it's something that people know, but some people you don't even have to say it. It's something that it's there, social media on its own. There are so many things that happen, so many things that go on that you can see, but you might not be able to say. Let me give you an example. So you know how people post, and when people post things, you view it and you're like, you comment. That's what social media is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And then people don't understand that there's so much that goes on behind that post that you're seeing.
Yeah.
I'll use myself as an example, but so sometimes when I want to post on social media, it's a lot, especially on Instagram or on Snapchat. All these social media platforms that are very, that you have a lot of people there, you have audience there. When you want to post, there are so many things that you consider. Oh, what time should I post? Oh, how does this look? How is this picture? Oh, how is this one? How is that one? There's so much that goes on.
Why
And,
do
I-
you, why
and
do you think that is?
I think that is because of what you see other people do. The
Mm-hmm.
pressure.
Yeah.
It comes from seeing people post. It comes from seeing celebrities post. It comes from seeing influencers post. So you want your post to be as good as that, or even if it's not as good as that, you want it to meet a certain standard. And it's something that people we can see. We can see this is happening, but we don't really see it. But you just know that, oh, hmm. So that's why sometimes it can be very hectic and very stressful. And you might see someone post something and yeah, it looks nice and all, but you don't know what has happened or the stress that the person has gone through. Some people can sit down for hours editing pictures. They can sit down and edit and edit and edit just so something looks good because they want it to be this thing that's so nice. And they tend to misunderstand the whole concept of social media by doing that. But there's a lot to talk about, but we'll still go into that.
I mean, you spoke about
Mm,
the subconscious pressure we put on ourselves to
yeah.
meet the standards of these celebrities.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Especially when you're not an influencer, you're just I won't even say upcoming. You're just
Yeah.
you. Like let's look at people as individuals first.
Yeah.
You're yourself, you've built your community, and you're comparing yourself to people that have worked years and years to build their own portfolio, and you're trying to match their standards to yours.
Yeah.
Give yourself some grace because when they started, their pictures were not looking that nice.
Yes. Yes. It
Do you
wasn't. It
understand?
wasn't that good.
So if you're comparing yourself at all, compare yourself to their early beginnings
That's
instead
very
of
true.
comparing yourself to where they are now, because that just puts you under so much pressure. You
Yeah.
want to meet up to the now, but you've forgotten that there was Then when they didn't have the resources
Yeah.
they have to make their pictures look this
Yes.
good. And it's just a lot. I remember when I was obsessed with equipment when I
Okay.
was starting my podcast. Oh, I need to have these mics because this big podcast
Yeah.
hosts have these mics
Yeah.
and these lights and everything. I was getting how many ring lights did I
I remember that year.
it was just a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I keep waiting to meet the standard that I'm putting myself or I'm putting, or the standard that I want to meet, these
Yeah.
people have, I'll probably never start.
Yeah.
And we've spoken on imposter syndrome on this
Yeah.
podcast. If you haven't, you can go and listen to it. We've spoken on imposter syndrome, and they kind of have a very strong relationship, especially with social media pressure.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So, one of the questions we even have, which I'm going to skip to, normally we do this at the end, but Miss Little Four Eyes asked 4 questions.
Yeah.
Why are you eyeing the camera? You guys, this is what I go through. Anyways, so Miss Little Four Eyes,
Okay.
she asked 4 questions. Actually, she asked five, but the
Okay.
fifth one was kind of confusing. So I was like, "Hmm."
Okay.
The first one is long-term mental health effects of comparison culture.
Hmm.
So let me ask you, what do you think the long
Hmm.
term effects are of comparison culture?
Emphasis on long term.
Yeah, because I mean,
Em-
these things don't just start
yes.
immediately, it builds up.
Yes. Emphasis on long term. See, there's this thing, it's so bad. Comparing yourself to someone else, you won't get anything done because you are constantly looking at yourself and you're looking at another person. You're constantly looking at what you're doing and what another person is doing. Oh, look at this person's own. This is how it is. Everyone is different. Everyone's content is different. You might be creating a content the same way you have this podcast, for example, and someone else has a podcast. Then imagine like, this person, they're doing so well. Their podcast is doing so well. They have this, they have that. Will you be able to progress? Would your podcast be able to, when you're so focused on comparing yourself with another person? Now, let me ask you, do you think
Of course, the answer is
is
no.
no, exactly. So when you keep on comparing yourselves with others, it you are taking a lot from yourself. You're removing your sense of self in general because when you want to do something like another person, then it's not original anymore. It has no depth to it, it has no true meaning. So the long-term effect for that is that you lose yourself by comparing yourself to others because you are looking at a mirror and instead of seeing yourself,
You're seeing
you're seeing
someone
someone
else.
else. Does that
Mm,
make sense?
you're
I know, I know. So that's the long term effect. You tend to lose yourself, but you don't tend to, you will lose yourself if you keep on comparing what you're doing to what another person is doing. Everyone is different. And so if you don't start and if you don't do something, or if you feel that what you're doing is not good enough or is not up to the standard. By the way, what is the standard exactly? I
mm-hmm,
need to understand. Because everyone moves at a different level. And like you said, there were people who before they got to a particular level, or there are people that before they got to a particular level, they were they didn't have what
mm-hmm.
they have now. And then for them to get there, they had to work. And if you are comparing yourself to them, you will just kill yourself because you also have to understand that you have to work to get what you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
On a mental health basis, long
Yeah.
term effects, obviously, we're talking anxiety, we're
Yeah.
talking depression,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking body image issues,
Yeah.
we're talking feeling inadequate. And like all these things, they pile up because it's from one emotion to the other.
Yes.
And that's how you need to be very self aware when you're using social media. How does it make you feel? You need to access how you feel when you use social media because when you do and when you know how you feel, you know how to control it. Okay, I'm feeling kind of anxious. I'm seeing these posts.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling joy because what else should you be feeling from social media? It's your phone for crying out loud.
Yeah.
You're using your phone and you're feeling like relax, like drop the phone for a
It happens
second.
to a lot of people. I
Mm-hmm.
know some people. I know someone that this happens to a lot. It's like he can't use social media without. there's so much anxiety, there's so much stress, there's so much the panic is a lot. And you're like, why? Why? When you can just open this phone and do what you want to do. Do
Exactly.
what you want to do. I don't understand the whole look, it's a lot and I could talk about this for hours. But
Which
we
you don't have.
yeah. But you also have to understand that it's not good, comparing yourself to others and getting so involved. If you feel like social media is stressful for you, then take a break. If you think, oh, there's so much that's happening, or it's just too much, then just take a break from it. And if you genuinely want to get involved in social media, then you also have to understand that there are advantages and disadvantages.
Yep.
And I don't want to say the disadvantages outweigh the advantages, but when the disadvantages come, it's a lot to handle.
Mm.
And if you cannot handle it, then I think you should just take a step back away from social media because sometimes you can just open this phone and you see something or you see people are winning, your friends are doing well and they are posting and then there's so much that's happening and you're like, hey,
Nothing much is going for
yes,
you.
and nothing much is going for you. If you feel that way, then you need to take a break.
And a lot of times we compare what people are doing to what we want to do, not even what we're
What we're
doing,
doing
which is so sad because you're comparing someone's reality to your
to your
imagination.
imagination.
And it's
That's
just,
so good.
it's
That's so
ridiculous.
good. Yes, you want to. Okay, how do I put it? Let me give an example. Um, you want to be something.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be someone, but you're not working towards it, and you are not. How do I explain it? You have not gotten there yet.
You're not taking any
You're not
steps
taking
to
any
get
step
there
to get there. You are not putting any effort to get there. But then you just sit down and dream
and compare what
and come.
someone else is doing to
Thank
what
you.
you're.
And then you will not feel so bad and you feel like, oh, this person is doing so well. This person is doing so.
Then your dream starts to drift away and then they become so hard to
To
achieve.
achieve,
And it's because you're not doing it for you anymore.
yeah,
It's like you're doing it to meet someone
someone
else.
else.
You have to have it's your dream for
Yeah,
a reason. It's not
that's another thing that we have to talk about. That we'll go into that.
what
That's
is
it.
that?
The fact that um people do certain things because everyone is doing it or because this is how it looks, but they don't do it because they like it. They only do it because
Is a trend.
yes, it's a trend. If you want some, that's why sometimes you ask yourself that, oh, why are these influencers and celebrities so good at what they are doing? That is because whatever aspect that they are into, whatever thing they are doing, they are good at it and they love
Mm-hmm.
it. Let me give you an example. Some people make music and it's so good. You listen to it and you're like, oh my God, this is too good. And you know that this you can tell that this person genuinely loves
What they are
making, yes, they
doing.
love making music because you can see the effort as is being put into that. And then there's another person who does not care about music, who doesn't really, I don't want to use this slur, but who doesn't really give
A
yes,
damn.
doesn't really give a damn about music, but they're looking for how to become popular, how to break the internet, and they just enter the studio and do something random. And
It's
hmm, that's why majority of the time it doesn't work for them
mm-hmm.
because they're only doing it for the fame. They're only doing it.
They think it's a path to
Yes, they
what
think it's a
they
part. It's not for everyone. Music is not for everyone. Acting is not for everyone. You need to find your niche. I think you did an episode about this
yeah.
finding. Yes, you need to find what you feel is good for you. And sometimes you can make it in life without using social media. You guys know that you can make it in life without using social media because everyone makes it seem, not everyone, but majority of the times, a lot of people make it seem now, oh, it's on social media. If you're on social media, you're so like everything works out for you. No, it doesn't.
I mean,
Just
we're in the digital age. We're
yeah,
not neglecting the fact that everything is
yeah,
digital,
exactly.
more or less. But a lot of things go on offline, and you have to find a balance
Yes,
between the offline and
and
online, your presence.
yeah,
Because if you don't, you can lose yourself. And to be very honest, a lot of things that happen on social media, they happen offline first,
yeah,
and then they are put on online. Nothing just happens on social media.
yeah,
There's always behind the scenes. And that is why you have to know that social media is like a distorted version of reality.
Yes.
You're only seeing what they've deemed good enough for you to see. No one is doing get ready with me to see my brother in a psychotic hospital. Nobody, because they don't want you to know those type of things.
Yes.
Nobody is doing story time on how I got declined visa. But these are real things that happen to people almost every day. But it's not something that you want to talk about because it's not something you feel.
Yeah.
It's not something you're proud of.
Yeah.
Social media is basically for highlights. It
Mm.
highlights the good parts of people's lives. So you need to have that understanding that it's not real life. And even if parts of it are real life, it's not entire life.
Yeah.
So you have to wake up that they have their bad days as well. The people that are posting themselves going to clubs on Fridays, what happens every other day or every
Thank
other
you.
weekend? It's not always like that for them. There are days when, for the ones that work, they are working their ass off so they can afford to have fun on the
Yeah.
weekend. So it's not like it's always
Yes, always. Yeah.
going to the club, always spending money.
Thank
You're
you.
not even seeing the behind the scene when one rich auntie is putting 1 million in their hand. But you're seeing them spend and you're
Yeah.
thinking, what is this person doing? They're not doing
And
anything.
sometimes it's fake. It might be fake. You might be seeing something that, oh, this person is always going. I know there's this thing I would say, FOMO. You know it, right?
Fear
Fear
of
of
missing
missing out.
out.
Yes. And then you open it and you're seeing them. Oh, they're at the one bar or they're at the club, and they're partying, all night long, and you're like, oh my god, if I was there. Do you even know what is happening behind the scenes? You're not
Mm-hmm.
there. You are only being showed what they want to show you. I don't know if you get
That is
me.
exactly
That's
what I'm
exactly
saying.
because when you open your phone and you scroll through social media, what is being put there has been carefully thought out and
Mm-hmm.
analyzed, and it has been put there for you to see. And so you're not going to see the whole process of, oh, how this came about. No, you only see pictures, you only see videos, and you'll be like, oh my God, were you there? You did not know what happened. I know there are times where I put certain things on social media and people would say, oh, this is nice, or oh, how did you, oh, do you know what I went through? Or do you know how this turned out the way it turned out. No. But then in their mind, it's like, oh, it's so easy. Oh, they make it look so easy. It's not as easy as you think. And even if it is easy, what's the point? You have other things doing. You have other things that you should be worried about. I wonder how people sit down and then they're worried about, oh, this person posted it, this person is doing, this person is living their life. And they're focused about how other people are living their lives. And they're not even concentrating on what is most important, which is themselves.
Yeah, your own life. No one is going to live your life for you. So the time that you spend obsessing over someone's distorted version of reality, you can spend it on time for more self-discovery,
Yeah.
like finding yourself, so that you too you can start pushing for what you actually want. Because if you keep obsessing over someone else's life, then you have no time to live your own. And that would be so sad if you spend all those years and all this time, and
Yeah.
then you get to the end of the year like we are now, and there's a lot of reflection on what did I achieve this year? And you start thinking, oh, you did nothing. Sometimes, in fact, most times you're to blame for that. So you need to start taking accountability of the fact that you didn't achieve much this year because you are spending most of your time watching other people live. Like, come on.
Why?
What do you want for yourself? And what actions are you going to do? Because whilst you're feeling miserable, time is going. Time is not going to wait for you because, oh, you're miserable and you're thinking, ah, will the world wait for me to figure? No, but adulthood is wicked and nobody really cares. Or let me not say that, but the universe is going to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
People are going to keep moving on, and time will keep passing you by because you're not doing what you need to do,
Yeah.
which is devote time to yourself, find out what you want, and keep working hard. The Bible says a diligent man would find themselves before kings. Not in fact, what the Bible says about lazy men is kind of scary, and I'm sure you don't want that for yourself. So you have to keep working hard to make sure that you're living your every day for your big picture. And if you don't have a big picture, then work on that instead of obsessing over someone's
Over
day.
the year is basically over, and you find out that from the beginning of the year to the end of the year you haven't accomplished anything, or you haven't accomplished much because you were worried about someone else's life. And this person that you're worried about has done so much. Like, they've done so many things, and they are happy, and they are content, and they're living their lives, while you are obsessing and getting worried. And as that is happening, you are not actively doing anything about it.
Like doubt is such a terrible thing because it does no good. In fact, it does all bad and no good because you're just doubting and time is going and you're worrying and you're having panic attacks and you're not making any progress.
Yeah.
So why worry? Like if you know this is what you want to do, start taking actionable steps. And what I feel about social media is that you can actually curate your social media instead of following people that are living the life that you think you want to live. Why not follow people that inspire you, people that motivate
Yeah.
you, people that are doing what maybe you want to do, and whilst you're doing that, you're not getting lost in being inspired forever and not doing anything for
Yeah.
yourself. But you're taking actionable steps, like you take motivation and you use motivation. It's not just every day somebody you
Yeah.
need motivation to do everything that you need to do. No, they've been motivating you since and you're not doing anything with it. Like wake up.
Yeah, relationship.
They've motivated you so much. It's time for you to actually work. That's how when I see full circle moments, like when someone that has been watching someone all their life and then they meet, and I'm like, oh, this is so beautiful. But that only happened because they took that motivation and made things for
Yeah.
themselves. You're there in your house, you're obsessing over
Over
somebody, you're
someone.
quote unquote being motivated, and that is all it is for you. You're not doing anything with the motivation. That's not motivation.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yes, that's I wanted. That's another thing I wanted to say. That obsessing over someone or something, or just having this imagination of something, is not the same thing as motivation.
Mm-hmm.
They are entirely two different things, because there's a difference. Sitting and obsessing, that's one thing. Motivation, as the name implies, motivation to motivate you to
An
do something.
action.
Yes, to an action. And so you have to understand that these are two entirely different things. Some people might think, oh, you going through all of this might be your motivation. It's not. It's just you. Yes, I understand that sometimes looking at those things, they help because they give you an idea. Sometimes if I'm doing certain things and I feel like, oh, this isn't. How does this look? I have to look at it from another perspective. So what I do is that I go, I check. Oh, how does this look? How does this look? Now, how do I make my own different? How do I make my own better? Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's the difference between doing that to become better and comparison. Do you understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? You get what I'm saying? So when I see people sitting and obsessing, like, you are not using this obsession to do something, but you're just obsessing and imagining, like, oh, daydreaming, oh, if I could have this, if I could do this. But there's no true depth to it, because at the end of the day, when you're done, you drop your phone and you resume your daily life. Nothing.
And let's be real. Don't allow yourself to be pressured when you're seeing these things every day. And maybe you should even be using social media every day.
Thank you. That's another
Maybe
thing.
that is something that you need to consider. Taking breaks to ground yourself. Come back to real life. What is actually happening around you? Because a lot of these things are not real. And then you're on a rampage of buying some people because you want to make money quickly. What have you not tried online? It's so embarrassing. You can't even come online and say, if not every day on Twitter to be today I got hacked or today I got scammed rather. Let me come with me as
Is it get ready with me to
get ready with me to get scammed.
get?
But like you need to just again, self-discovery is very important. Find yourself first, and then maybe you can now put that what you found about yourself
Yeah.
out. And that is a choice. It's completely a choice. Not everyone can be the out person.
Yeah.
You can be the person behind the scenes. There are lots of
Thank
behind the
you.
scenes people that are doing so
So well.
well. When the movies you see, if it's the production, the people that you don't see, they do the most work from the editing to the writing. Like there's so much. You don't have to be the person that always has something to say.
Yeah, that's a very key point to note because um when you see things online, you know how you see celebrities, they have management, they have people who manage everything for them. They don't just stand up and just post what they want. They don't just stand up and just, oh, I'm going for a photo shoot. No, they have a whole like a production team behind them. They have management. They have so much going on, and
To make themselves look
look,
perfect.
thank you for it to come out the way it is, for it to look so good. They have people doing that, and when you open these things, you see, oh my god, this is so good, but you don't understand that there's so much that happens behind, and the people that are doing those things behind, and it looks good. It's their work.
Mm-hmm.
It is their work, and that is the reason why it looks the way it looks. So you also have to understand that I know sometimes people do social media to make money, but if it doesn't work for you, or if you feel that it is too much for you, then there are other things you can do. Like he said, you don't always have to be the main attraction. You don't always have to be the star of the show. You can be some. I know it sounds very, yeah, but you can't.
Is the
Yes, but
fact.
it's reality. Or it sounds somehow, but you can actually be one of the people behind doing everything. It does not make you any less
Or just have your own, like have your own thing.
going on
You
for
don't,
you
not everything has to come out on social
on social media.
media.
Not everything has to be put on social media. There are people that are doing well, far better than people who are on social
And I
media.
think, in fact, for the majority of what this episode is trying to reach, we're not even targeting those that are trying to put out. We're trying, but this episode is more for the people that are just consuming, over consuming content and just going into a loop of anxiety and depression. Like this, these are the people that we're talking to. So if you're putting yourself out there, keep doing.
Keep doing
I'll
that.
never discourage that. You will find your path eventually. Just make sure you keep doing things to improve on your craft. If something isn't working out, then try something else.
Yeah.
And keep trying. If you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same results.
If you don't try something, at some point it will work out. We're having this conversation the other day, and you said there's no way if you try in 10 different ways, there's no way it will not work out. When you try this, it doesn't work. You move to the next. I've seen creators that have done something and it did not work. They move to the next thing.
And it clicked.
Clicked instantly. That's why, and I kind of understand why some people compare themselves. It's because sometimes someone can just stand up and just release one. Let me give an example. Artists, people who sing, and they can just release one song, and it becomes this big song, and they have such a huge career, and it's so good. And you're sitting and you're comparing. Do you not know that there are some people who have worked 10 years, 12 years, 13 years, some 20 years before.
They had their big break.
Thank you. Everyone's timing is different. And sometimes when you sit down and think, oh, this isn't working, because you're probably doing the same thing,
Hmm.
or there's no improvement, there's nothing new, you're not putting effort, you're not doing your best.
You're not aiming to beat yourself. I think the only person you should compare yourself to is yourself.
Yourself. And what you've done before should not be the same as the next new thing that you're
You
doing.
should always
Be
get
better.
better.
Thank you.
And to be very honest, that's one of the reasons that it took me so long to record, if I'm being very real. Because
Mm,
in my mind, I'm like, it's time for something different now. But at the same time, I just grounded myself to the reasoning that this is what you have now. It's not like you're
mm,
not doing the best you can. Right now, this is still the best you
yeah.
can do with the resources that you
That you
have.
have. Emphasis on the resources that you have. Some people just want to kill themselves because they don't have this or because they don't have that. Oh, this one is not. Oh, that one is not. You have to start with what you have and slowly.
Work to what you want it to be.
Yes.
So I'll ask the next question from Mitchell is 4 eyes. Okay, she's asking specific practices to mitigate feelings of inadequacy triggered by social media.
Hmm. The first one you should do is I don't know how to put it. Love yourself. That's how I would say, because one of the things you can do, I think I mentioned one
Okay, loving
before,
yourself is very broad.
very broad
Bring it down to practical
to
things.
practical. Okay. Hmm. First thing you
Okay, let
can
me
do.
start because I've already said it before. Curate your social media. Follow people that inspire you. Follow people that you could learn from, not people that pressure you into some distorted version of reality. Like my social media, when I'm scrolling on TikTok or my explore page on Instagram, it's mostly things about um, resources on maybe graphic design that I'm
Okay.
interested in, or something about spirituality.
Yeah.
That's how my social media is
Yeah.
curated to be. So when I go online, I know that I'm not going to meet something that's going to throw me off balance.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I stopped using Twitter is because the algorithm is different.
Yeah. I don't even use
You
Twitter.
can curate your Instagram, you can curate your TikTok,
Your
because it's
TikTok.
what you engage with that the
That
algorithm will keep bringing
yes.
to you. But for Twitter or X, it's very hard for you to, no matter how much you want to engage with,
You see.
you still see what you did not plan to see.
Yeah.
So I've said one now, curating your social media. So now another practical example.
A practical example is you need to understand how certain things work. Let me give you an example. So if you don't want to feel the way you're feeling, you have to understand the way it works for you. Let me put it. Let me really explain it. So I'll use myself as an example. When I go on social media, I know how it works for me, and I know when to stop. If I'm saying things, I'm like, the thing is already doing me that, hell, eh, look at this, oh, see this. Because sometimes when I do open social media, I get anxious sometimes, and so when I see certain things, I just close it. And by doing that, I'm getting to understand the way things work more. So next time when that happens, I know what to do. It doesn't. You don't always have to close it whenever you feel anxious. Sometimes you get, what is going on? Why am I feeling anxious? What is there? And then that to me is a practical example, because when you understand yourself more and when you understand when to stop, what to do, what you feel works for you, that to me is a practical
So
example.
like accessing your emotions.
Yes. And that's why I said love yourself, because I'm kind of like would I say empathetic, if you know what I mean. And I do believe that sometimes, no matter how things work, emotions are always attached to it. And so if someone is feeling anxious because they're on social media, that's an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety is an emotion. When someone sees something and they feel, oh, this, and I feel that's where everything stems from. That's where everything starts from. Because sometimes you feel, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But if your emotion does not align with it, it doesn't really work out. And so you have to understand yourself, and you have to understand the way things work. You have to understand the way social media works, so that you know. Bill made mention about you mentioned something about Twitter, that the algorithm is not really
To present what he
is
wants to present to
exactly.
you
Now let me use my own as an example. How did you know that word? Hmm?
by
By
accessing
by
Twitter.
accessing, and then step by step, slowly, you were able to understand that this doesn't work this way.
This app is not for me.
Exactly. So to me, understanding the way certain things work, although even though what I'm saying now, you might not understand it, but when you understand the way things work, you will know how to move around it. The way your emotions work, the way the internet works, the way a lot of things work. You just have to sit down and understand. And by the time you understand the way things work, because if you don't understand something, you will not know what you're doing. And so you need to understand the way things work before you can know your way around it. You
Okay,
made mention about it. So
understand
I
that.
think that's
Another thing that you can do is to take breaks. Know when to take a break from social
yeah.
media. Know when to come back to. reality. And going from social media to Netflix back to social media is not taking a break. Go completely offline.
Guilty. Guilty.
I'll always recommend that if it's a day, I don't want to say it's an hour, like, come on. If it's a day, if it's a weekend, if you're that bold, if it's a month. I mean, for some people, they are social media managers. So it is simply in their job description to be online.
Yeah.
It's understandable. But it doesn't also mean that you always have to be online. Your job is to manage your accounts or the brand's
Yeah.
accounts you're working for.
Yeah.
So when that is done, you also can't take it because I hear a lot of social media managers use that as an excuse that this is literally my job. I can't take a break from social media. I'm not saying take a month or take a
Yeah.
you can take hours every day. Do what you need to do, get off. Except your job is the one that you need to know all the trends,
Mm.
and there's still softwares for that.
Yeah.
You can there's a way to navigate all of these things. So take a break,
Yeah.
access yourself, access your emotions, curate your social media,
Yeah.
and yeah, like these little things are is I won't even say it's easier said than done because it's actually easy to be said and to do it. It's just for you to make up your mind that you want to prioritize yourself, your mental health. If your mental health means that much to you, then you will do these little things because they're actually very easy. And if your mind is not okay, your body will be useless. It's fact. Like if you're not functioning properly mentally, then your body can't do
I think we
anything.
all know that to an extent, if you're not in the perfect state of mind, it will affect every single
It will
thing
affect
about you.
everything. It will affect every single thing.
So,
How does the curated nature of social media contribute to the unrealistic standards? Okay, I think we've spoken about this.
yes, we've said this before.
We've spoken about this. It's basically giving you their highlights. It's their reality. It's the reality they want you to see, the image that they're trying to build for
Yeah,
themselves that they're putting out to you to
they're
see.
showing you the perfect thing,
The
what
perfect
looks
things.
so good. Yeah.
Like if something terrible happened in this episode, maybe they took lights and then
Yeah.
they brought it back. You probably never get
You
to
will
see
not see
that
it. You will not even see it at all.
because it will be cut out. And to you, it's like, this episode went so smooth. The talk was.
Yeah.
I saw one video of Salem King,
Okay.
and he was talking about how he records his videos
Mhm.
and how it's hard for him to learn a script.
Yeah.
So what he does, he'll say one line, cut, start recording again, say another line, and then you join everything together.
Together.
But by the time you're watching it, it looks so
It
smooth, and
looks
you're like, "Oh
yeah.
my gosh, she's so well spoken,"
Yeah.
and it's like, "Wake up!" I love creators like that that can be very real with you and tell you that, see, oh, it's
Yeah.
not that easy. I'm telling you that I actually go through this. It's not easy for me. So don't compare yourself to me and like, if I can't say it in one take, I'm never going to post it.
Mm.
Come
Hmm.
on.
Yeah, that's another time to talk about the way. Sometimes even things that seem natural, or even if, or maybe if I want to just take a recording, if I want to do something, sometimes I could stand there and do at least 7 takes or 8 takes. You turn off the camera, or maybe the lighting is no good, or this doesn't. I'm just being real here because I know that there are a lot of people that go through this as well. Oh, is this good or is this not good or how does this look? There's nothing wrong with wanting something to look good, but when it becomes when it takes over, like you made mention of something. You said being not in this episode, but you said something about being overly conscious. And there's nothing wrong with being conscious about or being aware, but when you're
Overly
overly
conscious is
conscious,
a
it really
terrible thing. It's very
yes,
restraining.
yes, very restraining.
It doesn't let you to just exist as you
Everything,
should. Everything becomes a point of consideration.
yeah.
Is how do I look? Is my
Did I say this well? Did I do this well? Did I?
and it just never ends. And at the end of the day, you end up never putting anything out
Yeah.
because you're trying to just make everything perfect, and it will
Mm,
never be perfect.
mm.
It's those flaws that add authenticity
Yes,
to
that's what makes it so real.
so
Let me give you an
real.
example. Imagine if we just finished recording this episode and we now go back and we check and we're like, oh wait, this doesn't look good. Oh wait, there was a mistake here. Oh wait, this. Then it means the episode will never come out.
Come
The
out.
episode will never be released. So that's the just use that and imply that in other things. If you keep on doing that, you will never do it. And I've seen sometimes where that happens to me. Maybe I want to take a really good picture of something. And I take the picture, I'm like, wait, it doesn't look good. And then I try to take the picture again. And then by the time I want to take it the third time, it's probably not the same anymore, or it doesn't look the same, or the lighting is no longer good, or something has made everything look so bad. And then I'm like, if I did not panic, or if I did not think twice, or if I did not say, oh, this doesn't look good the first time, I would have probably, everything would have gone well.
Yeah. When you're engaging on social media, you need to engage mindfully.
Yeah.
Don't just scroll passively. Don't be that like it's always it never ends. You're just
You just
scrolling.
like and go.
You
You just
just like you're just going. Like sometimes take the content in, take the good out of it, comment something positive. Don't be a troll.
Twitter people.
Don't be a troll. Like don't die trying to be a banger boy or girl. Comment positivity. Don't be that person that is trying to bring someone down or someone posts a nice picture and you're like, oh my gosh, how wig. How did you notice that? Why did you zoom so much that you're like, look, she only has one earring on, like,
Oh, her makeup.
or her makeup, or you're always finding something so shitty to say. And that is such a terrible thing to do. And then sometimes you wonder why you're feeling somehow. Maybe it's karma.
Probably.
Maybe it's karma that is catching up to you because you're putting so much negativity into social media. Like, why? You don't need to drag people. If someone posts, oh my god, that's you know what? That's one of the reasons I take breaks is when I open comment sections of some posts and I'm like, oh, that's enough for today. Thank you, Jesus. And I'm like, I'm logging off today because the kind of things that people say, like,
Yeah.
how do you think of it?
Oh
To be very honest, there's sometimes that are like person like we were all thinking this, and I'm like, okay,
no,
fair points. Maybe I was thinking this, but to
but
say
it's not.
it,
Yeah, there are sometimes where you think certain things, but you don't always have to put it out there. And there are sometimes, yeah, I notice certain things. You know, when someone posts something and you notice something, but then you now open the comment section and someone says, "Oh, we were all thinking." No, we weren't. Maybe we did notice it, but it's not something that we're actively concerned about. Like,
exactly. Don't it's like don't be true. I hope I don't have trolls on this podcast or like on my audience. But if you are, like, try to put more positivity into the
yeah,
world. You're not putting anything out. You're not putting any content out. So the least you can do
it's be positive.
is to be positive. Encourage the people that are doing these things. If they post something funny, throw laughing emojis or type smiles, like some people do. Anyways, but don't be the person that's always trying to drag these people down
Yeah.
because a lot of times the reflection of your jealousy
Yes.
and your envy, like you're projecting all those things when you put negative comments
Yes,
out.
it's a reflection of who you are. When you put those kind of comments out, you're basically showing everyone, telling everyone, "Oh, this is who I am. This is how I am. This is how I see things."
It's not even just how I see things, is I'm envious of this person, I'm
Yes,
jealous, and I wish them nothing good. And you seem so desperate and just I just feel
that's sad.
so sad and so
Very
much
sad.
pity for you. Like, get a life. This this shade is not for you that is listening, no. Or if you know someone that is like this, maybe just share this episode to
Yeah.
them. Just be like, oh, I think you should listen to this.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And if you're guilty of this, use this as a reflection.
Yeah.
Think about this when you listen to this episode. Think about everything, and even if you've made those mistakes in the past, try not to make those mistakes.
Moving
More.
forward.
Thank you.
So I think we've come to the end of this episode. If you listen to this part, thank you so much for staying with us. If you have any questions, any dilemmas, you can share in the comments. We also have on filter takes,
Okay.
which we just also discussed as part of this episode.
Okay.
So feel free to join our community. And oh my God, I just thought of, I was about to say, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Depression in that. You know what? We've come to the end. But I know how it can feel. Let me just say this as we close.
Yeah.
How there's so much pressure when you put stuff out and it's not getting the engagement you want.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged. Keep putting it out and trust that eventually you keep building that community. Because as you're doing your content thing, you're networking with people.
Yeah.
You never know. Just when
Consistency is
the
key.
consistency is
Yeah.
key. You never
At some
know,
point, it will work.
it will work out, it will click, and then someone will come and say overnight success. Hello, I've been working. This podcast is how many years now? So don't come and say, who is that big guy? Where did he come from? I came
Yeah.
from ground up.
I'm working.
I worked from
Hmm.
ground up. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with someone that you care about. I hope this blessed you. Don't forget again, if you have dilemmas, questions, we want to hear your stories, we want to hear how this helped you. Unfiltered Takes is linked on my bio, so please share whatever you want to share. We encourage that. If you want to see this cow in another episode, if you want to see him in another episode, let me know and I'll bring him back.
I know
So,
they would want to. That's
will you
just me. That's just
there?
how I am.
Please. Anyways, bye.